Good evening, and thank you for coming to tonight's performance of Horror. The performance will last 90 minutes with no intermission. Don't be bad, be good, and silence your mobile now. Enjoy the show.
Meditating. Do you meditate? It's good to meditate in the morning because you have a good start to the day. I can show you some techniques. Shh. We don't have a TV, but it's not boring. We have a raspberry bush and an apple tree. And a crab apple tree, and a honeysuckle bush, and a big tall trees, and there's a boy. He lives behind our house. I climb the big trees in the backyard. I can sometimes catch a glimpse of his chestnut brown hair blowing in the wind.
you girls have any discipline? Pigs!
Isn't a beautiful woman? This man loves beautiful women. I can be like Julie Andrews, Maria, in The Sound of Music. The hills of life. Or you'd be like Maria in the West Side Story. I feel pretty. I'm so pretty. I feel pretty. I'm so being a beautiful woman means a big boobs. Big boobs. Big boobs. And the
Tiny waist. My dad once caught this on home video. Me at 5, with my big boobies and polka dot dress cinched in. It seemed it was endearing to him, this attempt at being a full-grown woman. Actually becoming a woman, that was another story. Actually becoming a woman was some kind of trespass on humanity, one that, fortunately, I could not avoid.
Elena, I had a dream that we should move to Missouri. So we did. We went to Missouri, and when we got there, there was a homeschooling family there, and they had 2 boys. And Fiona, she liked the young one, Nathan, and I liked Jeremiah, because he was older and more mature. I would say, "Call me Maria!"
We slept in an unfinished house, in the woods down the road. I remember the sound of mice scurrying around near our heads as we slept. My father became obsessed with aliens and UFOs. Every night, he would look up into the sky and talk in whispers about all the UFOs he was apparently seeing.
There it was, coming towards us. A huge white, unidentified flying object. It came fast and silent as my mom cried, "Run!"
We left that farm eventually. Maybe because there was beer in their fridge, or maybe because they just weren't good enough for us. And we went to stay with 2 nice men in a 1-room cabin. It was beautiful land, and we would swim in the stream nearby the house as our mother washed our clothes. The men grew all kinds of things in their garden and would hang dried tomatoes and garlic in their sunroom. They were also gay, and my parents were a bit naive and hadn't realized. As soon as they did, my father, being his conservative self, he packed us up, and we left. Location on astrology. Location on astrology. Idlewild is the place to be. Idlewild, my father drives. How I wish my mother knew. So befalls our broken lives, bound only by good strife. Oh, to your creation, I do not know what to say. I'm trying to be strong. And if you were to let me say what I have to say, I'd tell you about my life when you were away. We got our first home after a year of vagabond life, the Red House. It had really bad energy and was most likely inhabited by ghosts. This was also where my parents' marriage deteriorated and fell apart. In astrology speak, it's all because my mother became a Scorpio rising, and this, along with her Venus moving out of my father's 4th house, she became secretive and less dutiful to me. My father refused to get help, and instead became obsessed with feng shui as a way to fix everything. He covered up the ceiling beams with billowing sheets and moved shrines into strange places in the house. I was 7 years old, and I had discovered masturbation, and I became obsessed with that. I even had a masturbation friend who would come over while we went at it in the cubbies together. My father couldn't fix his ailing marriage, at least not with feng shui. So one day, we drove away from him. I'd while my soul alive, I become the dancing girl, captivated by the lights. You clap your hands and I unfurl. On my 7th birthday, I fell in love for the first time. He was the most beautiful boy I'd ever seen. It was love at first sight. I even knew how to flirt. You go like this. So I did that to him. And he liked it. He likes me. I feel like a real life, beautiful woman. When the light of his attention is on me, I can fly, I can soar, I can forget every problem in the world. I decided, someday I'm going to marry him. Someday and have lots of children with him. Someday. I discovered school. I was good at school. And boys. My dad timed my entry into school astrological, so that means that I didn't go to school when everybody else went to school. I went on the day with the best transits. Probably Venus or something, because it was the best day! Everybody liked me. I was the mystery girl. What a feeling. And so many boys. The main one was Michael. You know, the one I seduced with the twirling on my skirts. I was 9 years old. I was having strange fantasies about boys peeing on me. I was making myself feel good on a regular basis. One day, my dad came by the house and told me to pack my little red suitcase. I was gonna go on a trip with Dad. So I did. I packed my little red suitcase and we drove 4 hours north to Ojai, California. My dad was trying desperately to get my mother back. And to do this, he believed he had to get her away from Idlewild. Anyone who goes to Idlewild is punished. Away from all the granite and A-frame houses that in feng shui meant fire, and he was metal. Oh, to your creation, I do not know what to say. I'm trying to be strong. And if you were to let me say what I have to say, I'd tell you about my life when you were away. Idlewild was the reason things were bad. If he could get her away from there, he could get us all back. And if he took me there and I liked it, he could plant a seed with me. My dad was like a god to me. He was this tall, enigmatic person I was always trying to know. We slept in his blue Subaru behind a restaurant. He bought me yummy food. He did readings on payphones on the Santa Barbara waterfront. He was trying to get his astrology business off the ground, and he was soon convinced that it was his poor astrological chart in California that was holding him back. So one day, after we had returned to Idlewild, he came and said goodbye. He was going back to Alaska. I discovered I love to dance. My mom eventually noticed my bra stuffing. I think she just said, "Honey, I noticed what you've been doing." My dad was still in Alaska. I wasn't really aware of it. My parents had a battle raging for custody. I tried to keep the peace as much as I could. But the best way to do this, of course, was to lie. But it wasn't me lying. It was the good daughter. She always knew, or at least she thought she knew, how to alter the story just so my dad wouldn't be upset. Sometimes she lied about big things, and sometimes just tiny details like the name of a band I liked, or how long my mom had been gone, or how much homework I had, or what I had eaten that day. She made life look just right. Hi, Dad. Oh, yes, I'm just having a relaxing evening doing some art. Oh, no, it's not for school. Oh, Mother? Oh, yes, she's in the kitchen. Cooking dinner. Oh, just some vegetables and rice. You know, healthy stuff. Oh, yes, we're going to bed soon. I have play practice tomorrow. Oh, no, the orchestra's not too loud. They listen if I tell them to turn it down. Yes, Father. Yes, Father. Yes, Father. Don't call me Father. I'm not your father. Your mother doesn't treat me like a father, so therefore I'm not one, and I'm not yours. I saw a videotape of myself dancing, and I realized I was chubby. I started to hate my body. I somehow got a book about a girl who got leukemia, and I developed an irrational fear of having the disease myself. Every time I would get a bruise, I would ask my mom, "Do I have leukemia, Mom? Do I have leukemia?" There was a court date at some point. I hadn't seen my father in 2 years, and I saw him standing there across the parking lot, so big and tall as he was, and everything's all right now. Daddy's here. Daddy's here. It struck me that he was taking my sobs all the wrong way. That he took them to mean I was suffering with my mother. No, he was just my dad, and he had kept himself from me and made his presence in my life something seemingly unattainable. But then, he decided he did want to be my dad again. And one day, he drove up in a big white van. No, not to kidnap us, but to provide us with the luxury of having a driver and a big cooler full of goodies on the 4-hour drive north. There were big Concord grapes and milk in a glass jar and kettle chips and dried peaches. He was a real businessman now. His astrology business had taken off. He had money now. No more sleeping in the booth Subaru. Now he lived in a mansion. A big Spanish colonial-style mansion. He was a real businessman now. He dressed in nice clothes and spent most of the time on the phone talking to clients. Sometimes I would even get to help him with his business. I would be responsible for recording an Enya song at the end of each taped reading. As neatly as I could. I was always fascinated by my father's work. I mean, astrology! It's every teenage girl's dream to have that kind of insight at their fingertips. I would collect my latest love interests' birth information in hopefully some kind of inconspicuous way. And that's really hard because you have to have their time and place of birth, and most 12-year-old boys don't know that off the top of their head. And they think you're really weird if you ask, but I would do it. I would collect this precious information, and then I would call my dad. And if I had a time and a place, he would talk to me. He would dish out all this juicy information about my current crush, whether he would be a good husband, what his childhood was like, all the fascinating ways in which he would hurt me and destroy my life. It was awesome! So, when I found a book of aspects, I was intrigued. I was even more intrigued when I discovered my dad had studied it thoroughly and written the names of people next to their corresponding aspects. And I knew some of these people. Okay, quick astrology lesson. And I'm sorry if you're an astrology hater or it bores you, but it'll just take a second. Okay. So, when we say, I'm a Leo or I'm an Aquarius, that's just the tip of the iceberg. Okay? That's just your sun sign. But when you're born, all this other stuff is going on. So, for example, when I was born, Venus was in the position of 19 Virgo. So I say, I have Venus in Virgo. My dad always said that would make me love order, that someday I would have a place for everything, like rubber bands and paper clips and those little tie things that come up from bread bags. So, an aspect happens when two planets come into contact with each other in some way, two signs of planets. So, for example, Taurus and Virgo are 120 degrees from each other in the wheel and are therefore in what's called a trine to each other. So if you have a trine in your chart, it will give some kind of boon to your personality in some way based on the planets. So for example, if you had Sun in Taurus at 3 degrees and Jupiter and Virgo at 6 degrees, that would be a trine. And that trine is awesome because Jupiter is the planet of goodwill and fortune and big boons. And Sun is your basic personhood and identity. So if you have that trine, you're going to be like pretty happy-go-lucky in life and cheerful, mostly. Well, it's not an aspect I have. But anyway, locational astrology is the idea that when you move, this also moves, and therefore your life changes. All these rulerships change. So let's say you want to have a better relationship. You have to change your relationship house ruler. And if that means you gotta move from California to like Antarctica, well, you gotta do what you gotta do. people can be prone to overindulging in sweets and other decadent foods. I guess that's true about me. I love to lick the cream off the milk jar. Weird, he told me to stop doing that. Also can be prone to sexual perversions. Oh my God. Does he know? He knows about me? No, he couldn't possibly know what I've been doing. Besides, I think it's normal. Other girls do it too. Oh my God. I mean, we imagine boys. That's not the point. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. Just want to be beautiful woman.
Do you want to look like a whore? Oh, God. Oh. Hello. Whore. People think they know what that word means.
Whore. I don't want to be a whore. I thought a whore was somebody who sold their body for sex. Ah! I need some new clothes. Like real new. Like not from a thrift store for my older sister, but like from the Gap. It's a really cool store that has all this trendy stuff. Now that my dad's business is working, he can afford it. He will pick a good astrological moon, and we can go shopping. Oh, if I could just get some of this stuff today. Oh, I have moon in Taurus. I need material stability. You should understand that. I like nice things.
Shake your ass, watch yourself. Shake your ass, show me what you want. Shake your ass, watch yourself. Shake your ass. I can't put my dick in my hand.
Please change the song. Please change the song. Let me just turn it down. He knew about the hair down there. I thought it was a secret. Fuck these stupid jeans! Turn this music down!
All you people are lowlifes.
You low-life scum listening to this! Subjecting my children to this! You scum! Position of the moon just wasn't working some days. I started to hear weird things about myself coming back to me through the rumor mill. And turns out I was a lesbian, which for some reason, was not a good thing to be. You just think you're so cool, Suzanne. You think you're so cool, but nobody likes you. Nobody likes you. And no one ever will. You're a snobby bitch, and everybody thinks so. I wanted to talk to my dad about things, but he never really asked me anything about my life, so to connect with him, I would ask him about astrology. My dad has Mars and Gemini, so get him started and he can talk for hours. Most of what he said is pretty fascinating, but sometimes he would digress into the oddest topics, and then everything eventually led back to the topic of family. Dad, that is not true.
Don't argue with me.
Well, that's just how I feel.
Get out! Get out of my car. You're an ungrateful daughter. You walk!
Jumping out of moving cars is something I was trained to do. When argument ensues with male partner, open door, get out. If the car is moving, just jump. This will either shock the guy you're with into forgetting what it was they were talking about, or they will think you're insane, and they will either break up with you or be nicer in the future. Jumping out of moving cars, great problem solver. Silence is not. Silence is scary. Silence and backs turned to you in aggression. Backs so angry you can feel it in your cold blood. Closed curtains and doors and a gruff, disappointed voice. We made it here. We got some ice cream at a shop near the water. Mine was vanilla dipped in caramel. I was just enjoying it. Just enjoying my ice cream with my sister. Suzanne, I think that guy is watching us. Hey, little girl. I like the way you eat that ice cream. Oh my God, he is you! Suzanne, we have to go. We have to go right now. We have to call Dad. It's not safe here anymore. Hi, Dad. Yeah, can you please come get us? There's some guy watching here and it's not safe. Yeah. Yeah, we're at the ice cream store near the water. Okay, thanks, Dad. Bye. About a half an hour later, the blue Subaru drove up and we got in. My dad peered at me in the rearview mirror, as if I were some specimen he didn't recognize.
You shouldn't have dyed your hair red.
Holes. 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 They're everywhere. They're everywhere. They're inside me and I fall into them.
my mother, she helped me through, and I did go up and dance, but that was the last time. I have to find it again. Where did it go? It's me. That's one. It's me. He is already a dancer.
I'm going to recapture the spirit of dance.
Good night, my love. Pleasant dreams and sleep tight. There's tomorrow be sunny and bright.
No! That's not it!
It was on one of the 4 hours drive north to Ojai, California that I decided to reveal to my father that I wanted to be an actress. I was nervous to tell him. He didn't have the best opinion of actresses. He turned most movies off. Going to the movie store was like going through a minefield. Only you never knew which movie was a bomb, and you knew it would go off after you got home. Most of the time we settled on old classic films and the animated Anastasia, but once in a while I would make the mistake of wanting him to see something I really loved, and then all hell would break loose. Titanic, for instance. Nasty woman. She cheats. Disgusting filth. So, I knew he probably wouldn't be happy about, my wanting to be an actress. Kate Winslet, an actress. I revealed it, slowly and gently. My sweet little dream. He pragmatically told me that I should become a musician first, before going to acting, because nobody respects actors who try to be musicians. Phew. Through a series of unfortunate events, I got into modeling. I got paid to pose for pictures for what I didn't realize was a website for men to jerk off to. The photographer made us think it was a website for agents and managers. Not so. I was 14. I loved it. I loved posing sexy and coming up with sexy ideas for photo shoots. Every week the pictures would get posted online, and that was always exciting. Until one day, peered closely. Oh my God! My naked hard nipple! My naked hard nipple was showing for all the world to see. Oh, I didn't do many shoots after that. I could see the physical transformation of my body through the photographs, and waves of self-loathing had washed over me like a warm, muddy river. I grew very concerned with fitting in. I just wanted to be like all the girls that everybody seemed to like. I turned to hair flipping, girls with upspeak, football players, and belly shirts to help me through this tumultuous time. Then my body betrayed me. Out of nowhere, just decided to wreak havoc upon itself. In Louise Hay's book of illnesses and their psychological causes, it says that leukemia represents a deep inability to accept one's true self. Now, I was only 15 when leukemia decided to come along into the realm of my body. I'm not sure how I was in such a deep state of unacceptance of myself. And isn't that what teenagehood is all about? Not really knowing oneself yet, so not really accepting oneself. Also, I'm not really sure that I buy that all those beautiful children in the hospital dying of similar illnesses had developed ego enough to be rejecting themselves. But I found it interesting because I had been adopting behaviors that were in such contrast to my former connectedness to my heart and spirit. Now all I cared about was how my hair looked, who my friends were, my cute outfits, and who I dated. Lucky for me, this didn't last long, because, like I said, leukemia. See this? This is why we're so unhappy. And this is why we can't dance. And this is why we're not successful. So, all we have to do is move to where this moves around to here. And voila. Problem solved. We have Jupiter ruling 10, great career. We have Moon ruling 4. You can't have Jupiter ruling 10 and Moon ruling 4. It's not possible. Also, I'll probably meet my husband within the year because Saturn is due to square my relationship house ruler there. You can't have Jupiter ruling 10 and Moon ruling 4. It's not possible. I'm in prime childbearing years. I have Venus and Virgo. I'm the loving father card. Now all I need is a husband. So pack your bags. We're going to Antarctica. I have cancer. No, don't ask why. The why's not important, it doesn't matter why. Just come hold me, just come see me at least. I didn't do anything bad. Maybe I'll be okay. I love you. I'm happy now. I'm happier than I've been in a long time. Well, it's different. A certain serenity has washed over me. It happened after the panic of seeing my hair fall out for the first time. It's hard to describe. I had been waiting for the moment to come. Every morning I would wake up and check my pillow only to find the normal amount of hair shedding. Until one day, in the shower, I grabbed a little clump of my hair and I gave a little pull and it just slipped off my head into my hands. And I just crouched there, looking at it. And then, just to make sure it was really happening, I grabbed another clump and it slipped off, and another and another and another, and yeah, it's happening. I tried to take a leg razor to my head. I thought, surely so much had fallen out already. I had a lot of hair. My sister was the first person to know what was happening. To be honest, telling someone that your hair is falling out for the first time is a little like telling someone that you have your period for the first time. You want just the right person to know. Usually that's your mom if you've got one, or a friend if they've already got theirs. For me, it was my sister. And there was this strange mix of embarrassment and the hope that maybe it's not really happening. Maybe I'm not becoming a woman yet. Maybe I don't have cancer. Maybe it's all just a dream. The moment I looked in the mirror after my sister had finally shaved my head, something in me just let go. I don't know what it was, but I could have fought it and gotten angry and ran upstairs and cried, but instead I just let go. I was in a state that was so far away from the physical expectations that I had so demanded of myself. My hair-flipping, trend-setting, makeup-wearing, belly-bearing self was gone. There stood me. With my puffy cheeks from the prednisone and my bloated belly from the insulin and prednisone and my bald head and misshapen patch from the leg razor, and I just let go. My mom said something like, "Oh, honey, you look cute." But it sounded far away, and it didn't matter at all. It suddenly didn't matter at all what I looked like. And then peace crept over me, and it grew stronger. My dad finally started visiting me in the hospital. He would bring fresh juice and sit with me a while. The first time I remember is when I was in what I affectionately call the isolation tank, a special room for specially immunocompromised individuals. People entering have to disinfect themselves, wear masks, and close one door before they open the other. I also visited him once in Ojai. Yeah? What is it?
I don't want you going out without your wig while you're here.
But I never wear my wig when I'm with Mom and Dad.
I don't want you trying to shock people.
It just itches my head, Dad. It just itches my head.
I don't want them seeing you like this.
There's nothing wrong with me, Dad. I'm sick, Dad. I'm sick.
You will wear your wig.
My body was too weak for rebellion, so it decided to come down with a high fever. And it was off to the hospital. I didn't go back to the Ojai mansion until I was well. And then my cheeks started to go down. I no longer had to take insulin shots. People started to comment on my appearance. "Suzanne, you look so good with a shaved head." What? I look good with a shaved head? What? No, I don't want to think about it. I look good with a shaved head? Oh yeah, I look good with a shaved head. As soon as I was in remission, I jumped off that hospital table and I was off! Hell yeah! Fuck all this hospital diet shit! Now I have God on my side! At least have life on my side! The greatest gift.
Kids in the ball.
after a series of fortunate events, or what you might call Jupiter ruling 10, my dreams were literally materializing before me more perfectly than I could have ever imagined. I was also finding myself sitting alone in parking lots for hours, having conversations like this. You really shouldn't do this. This is not a good idea.
That's just one time.
It's not even going to last, all right? It's not going to be long-lasting. Your career is long-lasting, all right? That is what is going to get you through this life. So I think you should respect that a little bit.
Yeah, but like, this is life. And I don't understand why you can't just enjoy it. Like, I can't just have something I want when I want it.
Ugh, it's not even going to be that good.
Well, it looks pretty good. Looks pretty darn good.
Are we really going to have a 2-hour debate about this? Charlize Theron wouldn't sit in her car debating about this.
Well, I'm not Charlize Theron. Fuck Charlize Theron!
Yes, clearly. God, I wish you would just let me enjoy my life.
I wish you would just let me enjoy my life. I'm just gonna do it, okay? I'm just gonna have one piece of carrot cake.
Ugh! The carrot cake? Really? That's what you're going to choose to destroy everything with? Well, go and get it. If that's what you really want, at least you should commit to it.
Okay. I'm going.
It's your agent calling. Pick it up.
I don't want them to know what I'm doing. I don't want them to know how I'm doing.
Well, then be professional. And let me speak for once. Well?
Yeah.
He wants to talk about stuff. Well, then let me talk to him. Hi, John. Oh, yes, everything's fine. It's just been hectic. No, what? No, John, of course not. This is what I live for. Yes. Go away. No, everything's fine. Yes, I should be able to have a monologue to you and do the self-tape,
Yeah, John, you're right. I don't have the motivation.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say. Yeah. Yeah, you take care too. Yeah, thanks for everything. Okay, yeah. Bye.
entertain myself. The dancer was weak. So I took the interview and I got her the cocktailing job. She was emotional. She kept eating, scooping gobs of whipped cream on those caramelized cookies, other people's leftovers, and smoking. Smoking, yes. After that amazing 2 weeks at the Raw Food Institute, no less. I mean, when your manager tells you to lose the weight, just lose the weight. How hard is it? But no, she would just sit outside the bakery and waste precious time. Borrowed time, if you ask me. I mean, why are we even alive if you're going to have a 2-hour debate about whether you can have a piece of carrot cake? I mean, I got her a job on the Sunset Strip, for goodness sake. One of the most interesting and happening restaurants around. A boyfriend with her famous dad, and what does she do? Squanders it. Gets depressed. Unacceptable. I am better than that. Ah, yes. The boyfriend with the famous dad. What a gem. I got cast in this short film for a USC grad, and during the course of rehearsals, I fell for my love interest, Friedrich. He left me speechless, which is always a key factor. I must not be able to speak my mind around the men that I should be with. He called me milady. That made me swoon. You know, it was all an act, but I was 18 years old and ready to be screwed over. I did indeed find out he was the son of a famous actor. He didn't introduce me to his parents. He hid me, even though they lived next door. He fucked me in his basement room downstairs and bragged that he could make his ex come 10 times in a row, and she liked it rough. So what did I know? There was probably something wrong with me. I kept getting UTIs, and I begged him to come with me to the doctor because I figured they might tell him to be careful with me. I was still a little immunocompromised from the chemo. Well, he was reticent, but he came after much pleading. It was a mistake. The doctor just talked about hygiene, which was directed at me. So Friedrich laughed and said that he had come all the way to the doctor because I couldn't wipe properly. One night, we ran into his dad on the beach of Santa Monica. I was a little starstruck, but I kept my cool and smiled and shook his hand. He looked me in the eyes and smiled, and we walked on. The next day, Friedrich said, "My father said you have a pure handshake." I didn't really know what that meant, but it's nice, I thought, and it made me feel good. I don't know what he means by that. I'm more pure than you are. One night he came to show off his car that he had gotten instead of plastic surgery, and we slept together. But when he kissed me goodbye, I knew that was the last time I'd ever seen him. I never heard from him again. I retreated to Ojai to lick my wounds and recuperate, but that meant moving in with my dad again. He had moved into the unfinished basement of the Ojai mansion. It was cold, and dark, and damp down there. Hardly any light. My dad liked to have the curtains closed. He threw down rugs everywhere to cover up the cement. He liked to talk about how he might improve things, build this and that. He had a piece of plywood on a 2x4 as a table, and it was always covered in mail and astrological charts. We also had Moby to ease our suffering. Moby the pug. One day, I went out to walk Moby in the morning sun.
When I came back, I knew something was wrong. You know, backs and silence. The computer was on, but he wasn't doing anything on it. The screen was blank.
Where were you?
Just went out to walk. Moby. Dad.
In your pajamas?
Yeah, I just walked around close by. Dad. Dad? What's wrong?
Did your mother teach you that?
Dad, what are you talking about?
Did your mother teach you it's okay to walk around in your underwear?
Dad, I'm wearing pajamas.
You listen to me, woman! Do you think I want my daughter? Do you think I want people to think my daughter is some kind of whore?
Oh, God. Finally. Oh. God, I just love it out here. Knock, knock. Hi, honey. Is your husband home? I need to sleep with him right away. Yes, if you could just go get him for me. I desire his attention immediately. Oh, no can do? Oh, that's okay, honey. There's another house with a husband in it down the road. Oh, God, I'm getting hot just thinking about it. Come along, Moby. You can watch.
My poor baby! She's so sensitive! My poor baby! She's so sensitive! My poor baby! She's so sensitive! My poor baby! She's so sensitive!
I found friends to stay with. Randy, a man, gay, but still a man. My father told my sister Ruthie, who was visiting, that because I was staying with a man without paying rent, that meant I was a prostitute. One day, my sister Ruthie called me in a panic of tears. During a driving lesson, she had totaled the car, and both their heads had broken the windshield, and they were lucky they weren't more hurt. She wanted me to come stay with her for the night. I did not want to set foot in that basement ever again, but she was scared, and she rarely reached out to me like this. I walked in. My dad lay reclining in distress on the couch. We crawled into bed and tried to sleep. About an hour later, I heard a sound like a dying animal. Suzanne, what was that? I don't know, Ruthie. It's okay. Suzanne, I'm scared. The door flew open. A figure stood, silhouetted in the dim moonlight.
You don't comfort me when I cry.
We lie there terrified, not really sure if it's even our dad.
You don't comfort me when I cry.
was terrible. As soon as he turns to leave, she jumps up. I'm sorry, Daddy. I moved to Santa Barbara. I was binge eating and gaining weight. I moved to Portland, Oregon. And then I like to repeat my mistakes over and over again, so I learned my lesson really well. So I moved back in with my dad. Yes, but it's the good daughter who lives there primarily. She also forces me to go to open mics. It's at one of these that I met a girl. Said girl asks me out. Decide that's a road I'd like to go down. So I did. I fell for a girl with a bright bleached mohawk and tattoo sleeves. The worst possible person I could have ever fallen for. My dad lived on the second floor of an apartment building, and he liked to peer down, spy on things.
Are you with that woman, Suzanne? Because you know you keep your hair short, and I saw you holding hands. But women hold hands sometimes, don't they? Yes, Dad. Women hold hands sometimes.
Then I was too emotional for my girlfriend, and she ran away. From his perch, my father spied my new infatuation, the dark, smoking man. Charmed the pants off me, yes. Literally. Oozing charm, this man, I tell you. Talk me into anything, I'm not kidding. But then, how could I resist a man who invites me over to sweep his floors after his ex-girlfriend has smashed all his windows in a jealous rage? Oh, God. I was hooked on this chain-smoking, binge-drinking, video game-playing, sexy, sexy man who could eat pussy like it was chocolate pie. Oh, God. I needed him to need me. I needed him to need me so badly, so desperately. I would wait for him to call. I would wait, and I would wait, and I would wait. Until one day, I just decided to stay in his bed. Until that inevitable phone call came in the morning. Where were you last night? I stayed at Andrew's, Dad. I knew they were deadly words. You better get your things out by the end of the week. Kicked out! So then I moved in with the dog-smoking man. He was my new dad. He fed me and gave me a roof over my head. I needed him to need me. I needed him to need me so badly, so desperately. I would wait for him to call. I would wait. And I would wait. And I would wait. And then I found the tapping solution. You guys know what the tapping solution is?
Yeah.
You do? Yeah. Awesome. Well, I hope I do it right. So the tapping solution is this great thing where you tap on certain points of your body, like this. And you guys can all follow along with me if you wish. It feels really good. And as you're tapping, you say, even though, and then you state the reality of whatever the difficulty is that you're going through. So, for example, I would have said, even though I feel like I'm a piece of shit because I've been dating this guy who doesn't give a shit about me. And then you tag on, I truly and deeply love and accept myself, okay?
Follow along the tapping. Come on, guys. Come on. Tap. It's so good. You don't have to say anything, just tap. It feels so good. Okay, so we're going to do it all together. You're going to go, even though blah, whatever your experience is, and I'm going to do it too, and then we're going to tag on. I truly and deeply love and accept myself. Okay. Even though I feel like a piece of garbage because I've been dating this guy who doesn't treat me well, I truly and deeply love and accept myself. Yay! Good, very good. So I did that. I cried and I tapped, and I cried and I tapped, and after nearly 2 years of destroying my life over this man, some kind of chain was broken, or the hook slipped from my lip, and I was no longer a fish on his line. Why are we talking about men? We've given up on our dream. The dance is not dancing. You don't seem to be able to get your face to stop breaking out, and it's been 12 odd years since you've been advised on that. I mean, see a nutritionist. For crying out loud. Maybe you're just allergic to something. What's going on? Why are you doing this to me? What's going on? Why are you doing this? Calm down, it's okay. I'm just trying to help you, okay? I'm just trying to get your joy back. My joy? My joy? Yes, your joy.
Well, you can't do that.
Why not? Probably something with the chemo affected the brain. No, yes. Because remember the first time she went on stage when she was well enough? Said I'd rather die. I was terrified. I couldn't figure out why. He seemed like a good one. He seemed like a really good one. And he was nice to me, so I had to tell him right off the bat about the thing that is wrong with me. So I said, look, I have a monster inside of me. He seemed perplexed. I was so sweet and polite. How could I possibly be living with a monster inside of me? So, he ignored my warning, and he proceeded to engage with me. Well, at least I warned him. Maybe he won't be so caught off guard when it comes out. Maybe he'll still be able to love me. Well, he was still caught off guard. And it made it really hard to still love me. I mean, how do you love something like that? Yes. You love it if it's your own father. In spite of yourself, you do. But not if you can choose something else. Someone else. Eventually, I got to New York City. And far, far away from my father. I didn't know what mask I was wearing, but then Balinese mask was all new to me at the time. So I did as I was told. Get into your body. Go with whatever you're feeling. Let it take you. You will either do what the mask is, or your relationship to it. At first, it was sensual. And then it turned into an all-embracing compassion for everyone and everything. I delighted in others expressing every emotion: sorrow, anger, laughter. I was so fierce but loving, not attached to any of it, but not detached either. Sometimes I sobbed, but it was only as if I was releasing some old, ragged clothes from underneath my skin. When I took the mask off and saw it for the first time, something in me was shook to the core. I didn't know what it was, but my body knew somehow. I broke down. The teacher came and rubbed my back to release more of the emotion. He collected the mask slowly. I cried as if I was a baby being separated from its mother. He gave it back to me. My crying lessened. Only until we did the exercise another time was the identity of the mask revealed to me. I saw the mask from across the room. I was missing it. The teacher told the young man who had taken it off that that was the mask of the whore. What? The all-embracing love and pure compassion? Well, yes. Of course. Defender, lover, goddess, mother, friend, relief. Finally, I understood. I met him a long time ago. He held me in his arms, and he loved me as best he could. Sometimes I grew in spite of him, like a big tree reaching out my branches through the cement to the big sun. I thank God for the things he taught me. The desire and ability to fight for myself. The ability to forgive. The knowledge of spirituality and meditation. The fun game of playing with the stars. I know he has wished things for me. That I would believe what he believed. That I would be pure and good. That the world wouldn't taint me a color he didn't like. That I would make the right decisions. That I would show my Venus in Virgo and my lovely Taurus moon voice. That I would wash the table a certain way and the dishes a certain way, keep a certain order. Symptoms of something underneath it all. The desire for control. Because control offers a temporary comfort from deep pain. Well, I wish things for you too, Dad. I wish you a good friend to talk to. I wish you a big hug from a man with a tattoo, a woman with a short skirt, a girl with a pierced lip, a boy with a boy. I wish all the things you push away to be at your feet, looking at you with love. I wish you professional help. All these wishes I send up to the stars, up to those big planets you love so much, and I ask them just once, will you defy everything he knows about you? Saturn, you big planet hovering over me,